ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
Thank the UAE leadership and the ruler of Dubai and his family. I'm extremely impressed by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. He's a ruler who takes decisions quickly, and when you take decisions quickly, I think that's important in business, and that you need to move fast. I also like the way that he has been a parent for his sons and daughters, and I can remember when Sheikh Hamdan, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, was announced as the Crown Prince of Dubai. We and some of the managers from our company, we went to the Zabiel Palace and we congratulated him on his appointment. And of course we've followed his progression from an adolescent through to adulthood, and we can see the responsibility that he's accepted on behalf of his father, being appointed to the different roles that he's been appointed to. The other thing I'd like to say is it's really gratifying to see the rulers reinvest the revenue that comes from Dubai in the country and concentrate their investment in the country for the benefit of the citizens. That's really gratifying, and you don't see that so much in certain other parts of the world, but it's really fantastic to see it here. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of my team, I'd like to say a heartfelt thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome again to another episode of your favorite program, Pearls of Union, in the heart of Dubai, where the new success story begins. In today's episode, we are having Mr. Raymond, the chairman of RS Legend Group. How are you, Mr. Raymond?
Hi.
We are happy
Salam.
to have you first.
كيف حالك?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm pleased to be here.
Mr. Raymond, before we begin our main conversation, we would like to know more about you as a person, your academic background, and the things which shape who you are today.
Okay, I can help with that. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm from Scotland. Yeah, and I started my professional career after graduating as a chemical engineer in the 70s. So I moved to Sweden. I was employed by a company there who manufacture explosives. They're famous. They're called Nobel Industries. It's a paradox, really. They're the people behind the Nobel Peace Prize,
Okay.
but they also manufacture explosives.
Okay.
But the division that I was employed in was for civil construction and demolition. And I lived in Sweden for about a year, and they trained me, and their product line was sent to Saudi Arabia by the company. The thing I liked about the Swedish company, they give you a lot of responsibility at a young age. Mm-hmm. So I think I was only 29 when they sent me to Saudi Arabia, and I was a project manager to assemble a manufacturing plant for the construction of explosives in Saudi Arabia. And because once we were manufacturing the explosives in Saudi Arabia, the Saudi government did not have to import the explosives. And as you can imagine, in a country like Saudi Arabia, there were lots of security concerns about importing explosives. So that was my start with Nobel Industries. They gave me a lot of responsibility, and I was lucky enough to be quite successful. I had a fantastic boss. His name was Kenneth Larson, and he put in a good word with the management in Sweden, and they allowed me to come here to Dubai and to open an office of Nobel Industries here in Dubai. That was the plan.
Yeah.
But the plan didn't work out. Yeah. Finances and different reasons were given to me as to why this couldn't happen. And I had absolutely set my heart on moving to Dubai and being the manager of an office. And so I persuaded Kenneth, my boss at the time, to give me a loan. He arranged for a company loan, and to allow me to sell the company's products in this market, in Fujairah, where we have quarrying and we need explosives in that part of the Emirates. And I would be paid a commission, not a salary, but a commission. So there was immediately a responsibility on my part to earn enough money to support my family. And I do remember that I came here on a Wednesday night. It was the 15th of September, 1987. And you might ask, well, why do you remember that so specifically? And I remember it so specifically because coming to Dubai has changed my life completely. Yeah. But I very quickly spent the money that they had loaned me. I think it lasted 6 weeks. Okay. So I had to rent an apartment. I had to get my kids in school. I had to organize rent a car and different things. The money was gone. And I had no option but to hit the road and to sell. And at that point, I wasn't so much of a salesman, but I made it my job to become a good salesman because it was absolutely essential to earn enough money to get by. After some time, we were doing enough for me to look at something that I really wanted to do. I didn't want to sell explosives for my life, work in quarries in Ras Al Khaimah and be surrounded by explosives experts who are mostly guys. It's a very male-dominated business. And I was always interested in sports, specifically things like squash and tennis and cross-country running. And so I decided that I had enough of a cushion to be able to put my big toe in the water and start a business. And I did that. My chemical background enabled me to research liquid sport coatings. It's interesting that sport coatings should be considered chemical products, but they are. Yeah? Polyurethanes or acrylics. The acrylics are used in tennis. And I started knocking on the doors of companies that I thought would be able to use my products. And most of them welcomed me because I was a new supplier in the market. And they told me, if you bring the products here, we'll buy them. We'll give you an order and everything's going to be good. And I believed that like a fool. And so when I brought the products to this market and tried to sell them, nobody wanted to buy. And I had used, again, I'd used all my money, yeah. And I had no alternative but to become a contractor and actually use the products that I had purchased, which were tennis court surfacing products. My first contract was at the Chicago Beach Hotel in, I think, 1988 or 1989. The old Chicago Beach Hotel, yeah. Oh, so the new hotel was not even a dream in Sheikh Mohammed's eyes at that point. The old hotel was there. And I renovated their tennis courts and their squash courts and their swimming pools and became a contractor in the sport construction infrastructure. That was our first project. I was very lucky.
Of course. Was coming to a point where you said you was a student of chemical background, right?
Yeah.
And now you are working in sports. How come?
Well, I liked sports, so I think if you want to work in your own business, you should pick a business that you like. I liked it for different reasons. One, lots of young people in sport. They're motivated. You know, it's healthy. You can feel good about selling or completing a project in sport because it's going to be used by kids, adolescents, adults, and in general, if they move, it's going to improve their health. It's going to do something to improve their life, their motivation, their mental state. It's not like selling cigarettes or Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
There's really it's a benefit to society. I like being involved in that sort of thing.
Mr. Raymond, today we are not talking about one company, we are talking about a group of companies.
Yeah,
Let's speak
that's correct.
about the services which they provide.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, first of all, what and who the companies are.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first company I started was Raymond Sport. The company bears my name. It wasn't my idea to have my name on the company. That was suggested to me by one of the officers at Dubai Municipality when I was describing to him what we do. It was him who suggested it. And he said that if I called my company Raymond Sport, he'd be able to approve the name immediately. So I allowed my name to go on the company. As a benefit and a disadvantage, because my name is on the company, everybody knows you're the owner of the company. They want to speak to the owner, and sometimes I'm not available, or sometimes I don't want to speak to the one, because in general they want something and maybe it's not going to be so easy for me to give it to them. This business here, the showroom is 800 Sport. So our focus here is an interactive showroom, specializing in what we call world-class fitness equipment. We have a selection of commercial grade fitness equipment in the showroom, and we also sell home fitness equipment under our own brand name. We have relationships with about 60 companies worldwide, and we have a company established in Jebel Ali Free Zone. And Jebel Ali Free Zone company does all the purchasing on behalf of the group. And the reason for that is that Jebel Ali is a free zone, and so we hold all of our inventory in Jebel Ali. It's Dubai customs duty free, which allows us to re-export it with the commercial benefits. So in the 35 odd years that we've been in business, we've exported pretty much everywhere in this region, all the way from Nigeria in the west, I think as far as Kazakhstan in the north, and maybe Bangladesh in the east, and all the way down to these wonderful resorts in the Indian Ocean, as Mauritius and the Seychelles and the Maldives. We like going there for project work.
That's great.
Yeah, it's very agreeable.
Speaking about the management, you have mentioned behind the scenes you don't like the employees, to call you Mr. Raymond. You tell them to call your name directly.
Yeah, I prefer that. Yeah. I do, because it's a business, but you know, the business is sport, health, and leisure. So we can't be too formal. And I've worn a jacket today because I knew that you would be coming in. But in general, I'm a polo shirt and shirt sleeves. We're a no jeans company, except on the weekend.
In Arabic, we call it, this is your second house.
Yeah, well, it is for us because we work a 6-day week because, well, it's health and leisure. And when do people enjoy health and leisure? Generally on the weekends. So we work a Saturday as well as Monday through Friday.
Speaking about the management, what is the main skills every manager should have?
Well, they have to be people person because we employ a lot of people in the business. So they have to understand people. They have to know how to, they need to have the ability to lead people. They shouldn't have a huge ego. This can be a problem when you're leading people. They need to be sympathetic to people's needs, but at the same time, there needs to be a firmness there because it's a business. And because it's a business, they need to understand business, the way that business is done in Dubai. They need to understand profit and loss, expenses, and costs. versus revenue. They need to understand the balance sheet because we share financial information with the managers in the company. That way they can see whether we're doing well, and they can also see when we're not doing so well. It can often be the case that people in the company, if they don't see how the company is doing, they can have the wrong impression. The company can be doing terribly, and they think because we have 2 or 3 large projects that the company is making a fantastic profit. But it could be that on these large projects, they're problem projects and we haven't been paid, or there's cost overruns. So I feel it's really important to share financial information with the management team. But you'd be surprised how many companies I run into, and when they learn that we are sharing financial information, they would caution me on that. And I don't understand that philosophy.
Speaking about the people who deal with Raymond Sports, as you have mentioned, sometimes they ask for you directly. Yes. How you make sure they are happy with the service?
We have a complaint line, and I see that every week. The number of open complaints, the number of complaints that have been filled, and the number of open complaints at the end of the week. So if I see that complaints aren't, if we're generating more open complaints than we're closing, that would indicate to me that we have a customer service problem. I feel that we do okay, but from time to time I have an angry client would find my telephone number. My business cards are here on the, it's normal, and we do what we can to pacify them. I would say in the majority of cases we can find a resolution. There's been some cases where we've had to go to the municipality dispute resolution system, and there's a dispute resolution system at the Chamber of Commerce as well. These are really good because it means you don't have to go to the court. Exactly. You don't have to employ a lawyer. I like that type of resolution.
Which is great. As all sector, I'm sure there is many challenges which you face in the sports sector as well. Let's speak about the main challenges and today how Raymond Sports is keeping up with them.
The main challenges in this market here are we're essentially a trading and a contracting company. If you look at the revenue drivers of our business, it's Raymond Sport, which is sport construction, paddle courts, tennis courts, basketball, indoor, outdoor. We're a sport construction company, and as a specialist sport construction company, in a new build environment, and we are in a new build environment here, the city is growing education. So this year we'll have 15 new schools will open in Dubai, and we would be on 4 of those. That's perhaps our capacity. But it comes with a responsibility. These schools have to open on the 26th of August, which means that all the work has to be done at least 10 days before 16th of August. So you can be on some of these projects that we have products which are delayed, and the project manager for the main contractor, he's not a sympathetic guy because he has a contract. He may have signed it with the school operator, he may have signed it with Dubai municipality, and there's real pressure from him to complete the project on time, regardless of the problems that we have or may have. And so when I'm signing contracts, I'm accepting the responsibility on behalf of this group that we will deliver on time, regardless of the challenges. And if it costs us more, we really have no option. We just have to pay.
Yeah, I can understand that. Mr. Raymond, today you are not leading 1 or 2 companies. You are a chairman of a group of companies.
Yes.
What is the vision?
The vision is only to be in the sport, health, wellness, longevity sector, so that each of the companies that we have in the sector can be supported by a network of professionals within the group. We don't want to step outside of that area. We don't want to go into real estate, for instance. We don't want to go into operation of facilities. We know what we are good at. And the challenge really is to keep everybody focused at what we're good at, because Dubai is an opportunity town. There's so much going on, and you can be distracted and you can lose focus. And my view is when you lose focus, that's when you lose profit.
Exactly. Mr. Raymond, having all these years of experience from a chemical engineering student to a chairman of a group, what's your advice for the young generation who would like to build their career in the sports sector?
That's an interesting question. Thank you for that, Shahad. I think it's important to focus on, you said career, but it's a career in a business sector. And the key word is business. So if you're going to have a career in a business sector, I think it's very important to understand the business. And all businesses are pretty similar, based upon profit and loss, balance sheets, investment, return, finance, contract law, dealing with banks, responsibility. These things are all common to being in a business. And the interesting thing about business is business can be learned, and you can learn it yourself. You don't need to go to school and do a business class a degree, although that would help. Yeah, but it's not essential. It's the sort of thing that you can do in your spare time. Multiple books where you can learn, but it's essential that you should understand business if you're going to operate in a business, and it's even more essential if you're going to start your own business. I think if you're going to start your own business, the most important decision you can take is to educate yourself in business.
We thank you as well, Mr. Raymond, for sharing this story and for being here with us.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
We thank our audience as well, and please be waiting for another episode in Dubai with a new success story.